Hey everyone, this is Prince Watercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Tougi King Colossus. In the last episode, we saved Princess Lena and the captured girls from the dragon in the Crystal Cave, and now we are headed into the Sword Shrine to find the legendary sword of King Orpus. And as soon as we go in, we're going to be dealing with a bunch of bats. We also keep hearing this sound that plays every other second. There are some buzzsaw traps here. They will hurt if you run into them. And I decide where to go first, and well, since I see a couple of bats, I decided to just go in that direction. Door up there leads to a dead end. So we might as well go ahead and take on a couple of bats here. There is a brown chest in that little cranny right there. Inside is another medical herb. So we might as well go back to where we were, and whether I want to go left or right, I decided to just go left. Because I want to get all the treasures that I can first. And there are those buzzsaw traps that I was talking about. Definitely want to stay all the way on the other side, away from those saws, and just keep on running. And we have a new enemy here, these little wall panels. Unlike the other enemies, they do not respawn. So once you take care of them, as long as you don't leave the area, I think they are gone for good. As long as you hear that little fireball spitting sound, you'll know there's one nearby. And you definitely want to take care of the fireball spitting panel to the left side, because there is a treasure chest in here. Definitely want the contents inside the chest, and inside the chest is the Morning Star. Even more powerful than the Haken. And I'm not going to use it, but I am going to show it off because, well, you'll see. Look at that range. We only have that range with the Haken. I mean, I like the Haken, but the ball is bigger and we have more range. I'm just going to switch back to the crossbow because crossbow is always the most versatile weapon I usually use. And by going in this room, we know it's a chest right there. But how do we get to it? Well, we gotta go into that opening between the rooms and go up, and then we can open the chest. Inside this chest is the charm pendant, another other item that we can equip. And I do it wrong again, but thankfully I catch myself out and I press B to back out. Go to other items. There's the charm pendant. Let's go ahead and use it. And by wearing the charm pendant, our defense increases by 10. Very nice defensive increase. So let's get out of there. Face the two lizard men again. Thankfully the panels that shoot fireballs at you don't come back. They don't respawn. And from here, we can just go ahead and explore as normal. And by going in this room, we should be able to find some more treasure. After dealing with the guards, of course. Now notice that treasure chest in the middle shook. If you see that, you want to attack it. Yeah, this game finally starts throwing mimics at you at this point in the game. Thankfully, that's the only mimic in this area, but as you go into future areas, you want to shoot at the brown chest before you get near them, because you may not see them shake, and they may be mimics. And after grabbing that medical herb on accident, didn't want to do that, I do open this gray chest and get the Courage Shield, which is a step up from the Night Shield. So let's go ahead and equip that. We're done here, so let's go ahead and back out and check out more of the last room that we were in. Go ahead and fight this guy off. And I can't believe I let those dogs run into me. That was pretty terrible. There's nothing in that dead end, so let's just go ahead and open this door. And we run into here. Don't walk into those flashing tiles. They will do damage. They don't do a lot, but those little hits eventually add up. And you want to leap right here. Leap to the south. Just keep taking the path to the chest that I do, and you won't run into any holes. Inside this great chest is the diamond ring. And now it's time to find a hole. So just walk around until you find one. You'll end up in this room. Get out of here quickly so you don't take extra damage, and you'll be back at the starting area. I'm going to fight some more bats to see if I can get some more health pickups. And then I'll continue on to the right because there's pretty much nothing else that we can do at this point. Now that we're here, let's go ahead and refill our health. And we want to crisscross through this room to avoid the buzzsaws. And now we have to jump over these flashing tiles, which is harder than it should be because you have a pretty big shadow and it's really easy to land on them. And when you walk with the sword, you'll find out it's a sculpture. This isn't the true legendary sword, but there's something written over here. Put the ruby of fate in my hilt. Then the way shall open. I'm guessing that's our hint at opening the doors to the right. We just need to find the ruby of fate and put it in the sword. And it's so easy to take damage on those tiles. Again, they don't do very much, but it is annoying. And let's go left here, and we'll meet Zakar again. We haven't seen him since the Southwest Cave. Hasn't been that long ago. When we know it's you, you're the only guy carrying a sword and wearing a green cloak. Anyway, Zakar is probably wondering why you're here, and he mentions the diamond ring. It's a good thing we found the diamond ring because we're gonna need it right now. Well, things worked out differently, my friend. Zakar will tell you that the shrine has held Bluefilia's national treasure since ancient times. Apparently the legendary sword is just one of them. And another one of them was the diamond ring that we just found. And he's here to look for that ring. But the only thing he found is a ruby. If you have the diamond ring already and you talk to him, he'll notice the diamond ring and we'll give it to him in exchange for the ruby. So now that we got the ruby in our possession, after talking to Zakar while the diamond ring is in our possession, we're going to continue back to the sword after we're done talking to him. Now that we have the Ruby of Fate, we can go back to the sword and we can talk to Zakar again if we wish. But before we go, let's go up here between these two doorways. There's like a bat over there that we can kill for the experience, as well as this great chest. Inside is another item that I missed on my first playthrough, the shield ring. We have another ring that we can equip. So let's go ahead and head to other items and equip that ring. Ring should actually give us more defense than the protect ring, and it increases our defense by 25. Very good item to have. Also, there's nothing down there. I just checked for like one more bat maybe, but that's about it. And now that we're pretty much done around here, we can just put the ruby in the sword. After I remember to scroll quickly through the text, of course. Now that we got the ruby inside the sword, we can continue on and face this blue variation of the lizard enemy. It takes a lot more damage than the green one that we've faced thus far. And we're going to have to deal with buzzsaw traps again. Thankfully, there isn't much to that. And now, we are in front of this pyramid. I was going to save here in case something happened, but the game wouldn't let me save here for some reason. I guess it's because the game just felt like it, I guess. There is this man standing in front of this little, I guess, pyramid, ziggurat. And he'll tell you that the search for the legendary sword is futile, as not anyone can take the sword. And even if the sword accepts you, you still have a lot of ordeals to overcome. Nevertheless, the main character is undeterred and still wants that sword. I mean, we gotta get the sword if we want to continue the story here, so. In order to get that sword, we're gonna have to explore this entire place and get to the top here. He tells you that the pedestal carrying the sword holds a deadly trap, and he tells you to look for the spirit zones if you want to get anywhere around here. He also tells you that if you're wounded, you can come back to him and he can heal you up. So keep that in mind. So I'm gonna go through the doors and check out all the rooms that I can. We'll be getting to those two chests later. For now, I'm just gonna take down the lizard here. That chest contains a medical herb. So in case you need a medical herb, there's one of a few over there that you can use. And the next door will lead to the two treasure chests that I mentioned. Chest to the right contains a medical herb, but the one that I opened contains the white silent stone. There are 3 of them in all. There's a red one, a blue one, and a white one. And you need the silent stones in order to get to higher levels. And the last 2 doors lead to this little passage. So let's go ahead and take the lizard down here. And we should be able to teleport somewhere. Find some way of getting to the next level. There's the statue. If you walk up to it, you should be able to teleport, but the statue tells you to lift up the silent red. We need the red silent stone. I actually found all 3 silent stones really easy just by exploring outside of the pyramid, but I forgot to do that here. By checking out the first level, we already found the white silent stone, but to find the red and the blue ones, we have to go outside and check the sides. Really easy thing to forget to do. Really easy to get stuck here if you don't think about exploring this entire area. So you definitely want to do this first. You don't want to get caught out by that statue and then be forced to explore the outside of this pyramid or whatever. Nothing wrong with that, it's just... It is, of course, something to think about because, after all, this is a big open area. There are no enemies out here aside from the statues that are just running around the different levels of the pyramid. But on ground level, you don't have to worry about any enemies, so... Exploring the outside area is a non-issue. So we finally got the red and the blue silent stones out of the 2 chests in the upper corners. So now that we got that, we need to head to one of the left 2 doors on the right. And I just could have entered the one on the left there. And we need to head back to the statue. Sadly, jumping around does not make your main character move any faster. May seem that way, but it does not. And now that we have the silent red, we can finally touch the statue and teleport. We can teleport backwards if we wish. All we need to do is just down that button. And now we run into one of these enemies. These guys will just walk towards us very slowly. That's all they can do. They take a lot of damage, but the experience is pretty much worth it, since they just tank all the attacks that you give them. They don't even try to fight you. And by going into this middle door, we are able to find yet another chest with a medical herb inside. Next up is this right door. Which takes us into the next level. Thankfully, there's one other door that we need to go through. It'll take us to the last statue, and it'll let us teleport straight to the top. I'm gonna go ahead and follow this enemy around because I can. There's another MP scroll. I never run into enough of those. Those things are even less likely to pop up than the health pickups, from my general experience. And now that we're up here, the boss music plays. You know something bad is going to happen here as soon as you approach the sword. Not surprisingly, we take the sword and pull it out, and the power of the legendary sword flows through us. So we now have the legendary sword, which is the strongest sword in the game at this point. But this alien that was holding the sword in his head suddenly comes to life. The most hated orifice? What's that supposed to mean? What are you talking about? Is this an actual demon we're dealing with here? Apparently so. You don't need to use a legendary sword to beat this guy, unless you really want to get in close. You can still fight this guy with the crossbow just like I do. He's really easy to face. You just want to avoid these little fireballs that he drops down, as well as these little three-way shots that he spits onto the ground, which create these little slime jellies that just move towards you. Very easy to pick off from a distance. Very, very easy boss fight, as long as you have the crossbow. You could use a closer range weapon if you want to do more damage in less time, but, well, I hold my own here. Thankfully, the fireball entity drops down slowly. They never move. They just go straight down. And as long as you don't move towards those, you're fine. And after you defeat this boss, he calls Orphis the Berserker, and mentions that we must notify Desire immediately. So apparently, Desire had this sword guardian that we just beat guard the sword for her. And by going to this panel, walking up to it and teleporting down here, we meet this guy again. By talking to this guy, he actually clears up what's going on. Contrary to what you may have been told, King Orphis was not a berserker. He was the only king who fought Desire to the end. So this Orphis the Berserker name that we were just hearing, obviously revisionist history because Desire took over everything, and her side won. The old man then tells you to go to Sirius and Khazard, where you will be able to learn more. Now that we have the legendary sword, we must return to Dystaria Castle, where Princess Lena is waiting for us. And as soon as we get to Dystaria Castle, Princess Lena blocks her path. Apparently she is really waiting for us. And she asks for our forgiveness because even the track, I can't even speak to save my life today. The track to the Sword Shrine was also a trap. They wanted to make sure that we were the one to carry on Orpheus's mission, and that if we were able to pull out the sword, then that confirmed that we were the one that must be destroyed. So now Desire forces now won our head, and it's pretty obvious we can't come back here. Even Princess Lena tells you this. So now, we must head to Castle Sirius, where King Sirius should be able to help us. Lena will also give you the Sirius key that will allow us entry into the castle. Lena then admits that even though it didn't last very long, she was happy to have you at her side. Perhaps Lena isn't as evil as she first came off as. And we head out with a heavy heart away from the Dystaria Castle. Join me next time where we go to Castle Sirius and see if King Sirius can try to help us. So until then, this is Prince Watercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!